I rise to second the motion proposed by Councillor John Hunt. Responding to the Pathways to Work Green Paper, the Chief Executive of the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, Paul Kissack, said, "A government that came to office pledging to end the moral scar of food bank use clearly should not be taking steps that could leave disabled people at greater risk of needing to use one." I completely agree with that statement, and I'm baffled that this is a Labour government making what the charity Scope describes as the biggest cuts to disability benefits on record. We all understand the financial situation the country faces is precarious and has been for some time. We all understand, and my party more than most, the consequences of austerity and cuts. Brexit, COVID, the invasion of Ukraine has all had a significant negative impact on our finances, and across the pond we now have a president who, in unleashing America's own Brexit on steroids, has crashed the global economy and is dragging us all even further into recession and hardship. So it's a tough enough time for any of us, but right now, disabled people in our city are really worried about what this Green Paper means for them and their families, and with good reason. Last month, the Joseph Rowntree Foundation reported that Ladywood and Hall Green and Moseley constituencies now have relative child poverty rates of 55%. This is the worst child poverty in the UK. Scope points out that almost half of families in poverty include someone who's disabled. And the government's own impact assessment warns that 250,000 more people, 50,000 of them children, will be driven into relative poverty because of these cuts. So how's that going to help the children in Hall Green and Moseley or Ladywood? There's been a big rise in personal independence claims and mental health disability, and that is indeed a worrying trend among young people. Yet the data shows that disabled young people aged between 18 and 21 are likely to be among the most affected by the proposals. It's difficult to see how this approach is legally or morally defensible, particularly as people under 25 already receive lower rates of universal credit than older adults. The charity MENCAP reports nearly 200,000 people with a learning disability rely on PIP to support them with unavoidable costs related to being disabled, such as specialist food, higher energy bills, accessible transport or social care support. The National Autistic Society warned that taking away access to benefits without a clear plan for tackling the extensive barriers they face will only make things harder for autistic people who want to work and risks unfairly punishing those who can't. Birmingham's level of NEETs, that's those not in education, employment or training, is far higher than the national average. And this clearly needs to be tackled. And the government are now considering offering pathways into employment, such as the right to try guarantee. But how will that work in practice? Birmingham is a city of small and medium businesses. Employers need assurance that people they train or employ will stay committed to a job. Removing barriers that prevent people working will not help if accompanying cuts undermine those positives. Right now, disabled people are hearing these proposals will save the government £5 billion. That's a huge sum. So it's natural that people will feel anxious that these changes will negatively affect their lives. In contrast, there are no top lines on how people will be helped into good quality, meaningful work, or reassurance that those who cannot work will continue to get the support they need, or what else is being done to tackle the underlying causes of sickness and poverty. Our motion seeks to ensure how this legislation will affect the people already facing hardship in our city, to ensure they get a say and to include them in how we can plan to mitigate and prepare for the additional inevitable demands we will face to support them. And we really hope that you can support us to support them. Thank you, Lord Mayor.